So for this first solve here, I noticed that we have our cross pieces here and one more at the back. In this case, what we can do is move red on top of blue like this. And if we insert red in the back like this, and then insert blue like this, it'll set up these three cross pieces correct. And then we can align at this stage and then insert green at the front. And that makes the cross on the bottom. So for the first F12 pair, the first pair that I saw was the red and green pair. So we can go ahead and pair that up by moving the edge over into this position. And we can go straight into the insert into the front like this. Next up, I noticed the red and blue edge. And as I inserted this pair, I noticed that the corner was here. And so we can check that, and it is that corner. So we can pair them up by moving the edge into this position like this, and then that pairs it up, and we can insert into the back slot like that. I noticed that we also paired up the orange and green edge in the process. So what we can do is insert that as well, and I noticed that if I insert this pair with a U2, that sets up a better case for my final F12 pair, which is the orange and blue pair. So I'll insert with a U2, and it actually flips the corner, which is good because the edge was flipped as well. And so we can pair this, it's already paired up, so we can solve this rotationlessly into the back like this. And that solves that pair into the back, no rotations. So for Olo, for this Olo case, it's actually a really nice algorithm. It goes like this. So it starts off with an inverse sledge. Takes out the F12 pair into this position, and we can just insert this F12 pair normally using the inverse sexy. And after that, we have a Y-perm, and it's recognized because there's a 2x1 bar here and opposite colors on the headlights. It's definitely going to be a Y-perm, and we can check that by moving the U layer over, and it's definitely a Y-perm. And also recognize that we have a blue 2x1 bar here, and blue actually belongs at the back, so we need to do a U2 after the algorithm for AUF. Alright, so for this scramble, we notice that we have our cross pieces here, one here, and the other one at the back here. And so, so I also noticed this F12 pair here as well, which I think I might be able to preserve. Let's see, so what we can start off with is a U prime D, and that not only moves the F12 pair out of the way, it also paired up this F12 pair as well, but I wouldn't have seen that in an actual solve. But anyway, I was planning on inserting the orange at the back, and that moves this F12 pair out of the way again, and we can insert blue with an L2, and that also sets up red at the front, which we can insert like this. And here we can follow up by aligning the D layer, and that actually preserved both F12 pairs. So we did get kind of lucky here. Instead of inserting this first, I might just insert this pair first, since it also preserves this pair. So we can insert the red and blue pair into the front, and then go ahead and insert the orange and green pair like this into the back. Okay, so we actually paired up the red and green pair as well, so we can go ahead and insert that into the front as well. Wow, this is a lucky solve. And finally, we have the orange and blue edge, and we have the corner here. So it's definitely this corner because of the white sticker. And so we can actually solve this from the back rotationless as well. So we can take the corner out, put it into this position like this, and that sets up this case, which we can insert into the back like this. So that was a very nice F2O. So for Olo, this algorithm is pretty much wide soon from the back, but there's two of them, but they sort of cancel each other out in the middle. So it's a bit shorter than two soons, and it goes like this. And finally, we have the Z-perm. So the corners are matching the rest of the sides. So it actually means that with the algorithm that I do, it's going to be a U2 AUF after the algorithm. Alright, for this scramble, I noticed that we have our cross pieces here and 2 more at the bottom here. And once again, we have an F2L pair already here that we can try and preserve. In this case, what we could start off doing is D move like this and a U2, and that sets up green opposite to blue. And also, as we insert green, we can insert red as well, and that actually preserves this F2L pair over here. And at the end here, we need to insert orange into this position. So what we can do is do a D2 that lines up orange to its position, and we can insert orange and then align the cross at the end. And then go into inserting this F2L pair, which we preserved since inspection. After that, we can move on to the red and blue pair, which I spotted here. So we can pair them up like this, and that actually paired up this pair as well, which is quite nice. So I'm going to go ahead and insert the red and blue pair first, since that would actually preserve this pair as well. So inserting the red and blue at the back, and then we'll have to rotate again to insert the orange and blue. So we'll rotate this way so that we're inserting this into the back as well. And notice that after I insert this into the back, the final F2L edge won't move, and this corner will move over into this position, so I can go straight into pairing the orange-green pair up like this. And that pairs up this pair, and we can insert into the front. Alright, so for this Olo, it's lefty soon, but in the middle of the soon, we have to add a lefty sledge as well. So it starts off with a lefty soon, and then we do a lefty sledge, and end off the soon. Finally, we have an A-perm, and it's an A-perm because we can recognize that there's a 2x2 block here, and the corner colors on either side are matching. So it's definitely one of the A-perms, and we can look over here, there's no headlights here. Otherwise, you can just recognize opposite colors here, so headlights must be at the back. Either way is fine, so it's an AA perm. And also, the 2x1 bar here is blue. Blue actually belongs at the back, so it's a U2 AUF after the algorithm. Alright, so for this scramble, I noticed that the cross pieces are here, and we have another one at the back. For this cross, we can start off by moving blue over into this position, like this, and that sets up blue opposite to green, which is quite nice. We can insert red, followed by the blue and the green that we set up earlier. And then finally, we can insert orange. In this case, we can move the orange over with a wide U prime move, and that way we can do an R2 to insert. But before I do the R2, I noticed that this F2L pair gets paired up in the process, so I'm going to move it out of the way to preserve it, and I'm going to continue on and insert the orange edge. So from here, I can insert this pair into the back using a U2 insert, so it's regripless. Okay, so we have something quite interesting here. So we have the edge and the corner of 2 different F2L pairs solved, and I see this pseudo F2L pair already set up here. And so notice that the edge is actually unoriented. So it's the case where if it's a regular F2L pair, then it would have side colors matching. So just to show you what I mean, if this was a regular F2L pair, it would look something like this. And if I wanted to solve it from this angle, I could do F inverse sexy F prime, and that would pair the F12 pair here, and we can insert like this. So we can do the exact same thing for this pair, but the only difference is that it's a pseudo F12 pair, but we can do the same moves and it'll also pair it up, and we can go into the insert as if it was a regular F12 pair. So we can start off by aligning the misaligning the cross like this, so that the unsolved corner and the unsolved edge are right next to each other. And then we can do the exact same moves onto this F12 pair, so F inverse sexy F prime. And then we can go ahead and insert regularly, and we can align the cross. So I noticed that we have our final F12 pair in this position. So instead of aligning the cross with a D move, if I did a wide U prime move like this, I won't have to rotate, and I can go straight into solving this F12 pair, and we can do it rotationlessly like this. And that pairs up this F12 pair in the back position, and we can insert into the front. And we get this OLO again. So I've already explained this OLO, so I'll just go ahead and do this case. And we have a V-perm. So the V-perm is recognized by the 2x1 bar here, and also similar to the Y-perm, the corner colors are opposite colors. So it's going to be a diagonal corner swap, and so it's going to be a V-perm. We can move it over to check that it's a V-perm. And finally, the 2x1 bar at the front here is green. Green belongs on the right side, so we'll have to do a U prime after the algorithm for AUF. So for this scramble, we have our cross pieces here, and one here, and the other one's here. So what we can do, it's not really a nice cross at all. I guess what we can start off doing is setting up red and orange opposite to each other. And so we can do that by moving orange here, and then moving red to the back. Following that, we can insert green and orange like this. So that sets up green, and we can do an F2 to insert orange. And then finally we have blue that we need to put into this position. So we can move this position over, put blue down, and then align the cross at the end with a D2. So the first F12 pair that I saw was the red and green F12 pair. So pretty standard, we can pair it up like this, and then insert into the front. Following that, we have the, well, at least I saw the red and blue pair, so we can pair that up. It's also pretty standard, moving the edge over and rotating over to insert into the back. Also notice that this F12 pair won't move as I insert this pair, so I can go straight into this pair afterwards. So insert, and then pair this pair up as well. And then we can insert this pair into the front. And finally we have this solved edge, and the corner is back here. So we can once again pair this up the regular way by taking the edge out into this position. That results in a paired case, which we can insert into the front slot. Following that, we have this OLO. Once again, pretty standard algorithm for this OLO. So it starts off with an R prime, U prime, and then that's followed by two sledgehammers. And then we end off by undoing the setup moves, doing a U and then an R. And that results in a Y perm. So we have the front 2x1 bar here, it's blue. Blue belongs on the right side, so we'll have to do a U prime after the algorithm for AUF. So that's it for the example solves video. If you have any questions about anything in this video, feel free to leave a question in the comment section down below. You can also message me on social media. Links to those will also be in the video description. Like the video if you learned something new, please subscribe if you want to see more similar videos, and share these videos with people you know who are trying to get faster using the CFOP method. It really helps grow the channel that way. Thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate everyone's support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.